Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, today we've got a map from a creator we have done twice in the past, episodes 935 and 1261, where they got 12 stars and the seal of approval on each occasion. And today's map is going to be somewhere in the same ballpark, another strong map from a strong creator. Now, there are a couple of technical issues with the map. One of them I blame the creator for. One of them you can blame me for, in a week that's been beset by technical problems. I hated this week. It's been one thing after another after another. Anyway, beyond the technical stuff, there is also one which is down to personal taste. For me, it doesn't quite work on this map, but that said, it still works. It just doesn't work in my eyes. And you can agree or disagree in the comments. That's what the comments are there for. Okay, so it should be a good review today, so you might as well grab yourself a BonBonBingo card, play along as we go, link is in the description. And of course, if you don't want to do that but you want to play something else, there's always the fun game of slapping the like button. That's right, hitting the like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Clarette by djoe. Yes, djoe is back. They've just got a great visuals with the old thumbnail there. We've got a really good, strong starting location. There's your start square. And an interesting river shape going on there too. Terrain heights across the map, plenty of buildable space along the river, and you can even get up quite happily into the hills too. Strong resources, especially if you want to do some farming alongside the river. It feels like it should be done. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, your fishing map looks like this. Salmon and anchovies with a bit of shellfish. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Okay, now here's where the fun's going to begin. A nicely written description. There are two one-click collections, opting in for the second one if you want procedural objects. So yes, there's all the information you need, including information about TMP and stuff. Also, there is a theme mix for Theme Mixer 2. See that? It says it there in the blue. Look out for that in the one-click collections, because I couldn't find one. We've got a number of things, including the clarifier and the small water pumping station, trees, rocks, highways, and the list is medium length. One-click collection here. The second one-click collection, railway replacer mods in operation today. Intersection marking tool, no controller, all those bits. Theme Mixer 2, can't see a theme mix. Okay. Then we have a one-click collection for procedural objects. This is optional. If you don't have this, a few things won't appear in the map, but it won't break your game. It won't. But I think it's definitely a nice touch, and a big thumbs up from me. Definitely goes towards a little bit of extra in the detailing score from me. Mind the talking point as we're coming along this road to start off. A few of these clusters of bushes, they aren't terrain conforming, and they're just hovering a little bit. That one on the left right now, and then there's another one on the left right now. They're just hovering just slightly above the ground. We're well out. Who's going to be looking down here anyway? There might be more of that across the map, but I was looking at other stuff anyway. So anyway, now, so let's talk technicals. Technical in terms of, obviously, the highway, beautiful highway. No real grumbles with this one. But, yeah, the theme. We're running with the Stray Cats Territory Homecoming theme with the Relight Average LUT. And this isn't how it's intended. It looks okay. It looks okay. Has kind of a vanilla feel to it. Oddly, the whole map has a real, even though it's clearly not, we've got a lot of things to subscribe to. First intersection here. Oh, and also procedural objects mostly is for the signs above the highways. And all the highways are numbered and have arrows to specific areas. And again, it all makes lovely sense. It's not going to feature them too heavily because it's more about the map than it is about the signage. But it's a very strong addition to the map. And I like it. Okay, so like I say, you're scoring yourself a little bit of extra detailing points for that alone. So yeah, so we're looking at a map that isn't supposed to look like this one, but without the theme mix. I don't know. I even actually searched the workshop for the theme mix, and I couldn't find the theme mix under. But you know what the Steam search function's like. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. That's why WhatsMap exists, because finding a decent map with the slightly encroaching trees on the right here. But yeah, finding a map on the workshop is a nightmare. Well, a specific one. A little bit of blue mantle there. Tiny little hint from the different angle. There you go. Just smell it. I'm not that worried about that one either. It could easily be hidden or tweaked out. And again, a bit more encroaching foliage there. This isn't like the best way to showcase a map coming through here, but I did want to follow a highway all the way across the map, and the hills are fine, and they probably look more than fine once we get to rivers. Once we get the correct theme mix and stuff on here. The road's split up for a very specific reason here, and that is the split bridges. Now, I have googled split highway bridges, and they do exist. It just seemed odd to me that we would split to do that and then come back together. I would have thought they would it not be easier just to build one bridge than two bridges? I don't know. I'm sure there's a very technical reason why it's easier to build two separate bridges, but I'm not marking it down or anything. I just thought it was interesting that it was deliberately done. So again, at least it's a talking point. It's something for us to think about. And if you're doing a map build, maybe you could do the same. Yeah, it's not something I think I would have done there. But again, I can't really fault it, having found many online that do that. And we've got next, let's see, the sign and share. Take a right for Clarette. Okay, you can see on the signpost there, we have got the same punctuation as in the title. We've got slight changes of roads on the nodes, on the split lanes here. I don't know if that's because we didn't have the right sort of roads for, or maybe it was glitching when they tried to make it. I don't know. But anyway, San with the E, Clarette. So it's definitely San, not Saint or Saint. So Clarette. Yep. A very pretty name for the map. Confusing with the punctuation though. Can't get past the punctuation. Anyway, again, not marking it down. There was a telegraph pole, power line that was just jutting out the top of the rock there, but we can let that go. Start square is in this area here, and I think there's a bit of procedural object work on this bridge as well. So there's probably a little bit more that you can have with the procedural objects, but it still works fine. Oh, the floating rocks there, I think that is down to me. Ignore them. I think that's down to me. I was switching between snapping and not snapping, and yeah, all sorts of. It's been a really tough week. Got this little staging area for water, fresh water, and water sewage down there as well. And what's this? Oh, we're leaving Clarette. Oh, okay, that's kind of sweet. It's kind of sweet. Yeah. So all told, I actually do like this map. I'm gonna have a few grumps. Even with the homecoming theme, which is a strong theme, does have a problem. It does have a problem. This theme, which you're gonna see in the second half of the show. And that road goes up into the hills, and that's my other grumble. Those highway network, the national roads that go into the hills. Again, I will save that for the second half of the show. Not there's anything wrong with them. The technical work on those roads is fine. What I have a trouble with is the believability on them, if that makes too much sense at all. This road here makes sense. I can buy into this road. This feels like it's a natural road. It will connect back up with the highway in a minute, and it does so in a very natural way. The national roads that go up into the hills, they just... oh, and this intersection is very nice. In fact, I'm very sad. I was going to come back and show this intersection in more detail, because I like it. Tiny little bit glitching there with the roads squidging back in there. But yeah, I was going to come back and show this off in the second half of the show, and I forgot to log it as a task to do, because that is a very nice intersection. And we've got the rail on the right there. Remember, technical problem with the rail coming up in the second half of the show, which is down to me. Do not judge the creator, because I'm certain that it's not the creator's fault. Where were we? Oh yeah, following the highways off. So yeah, the highways make sense to me. The national roads buzzing around in the valleys makes sense. A little bit of encroaching foliage on the rail as well. So there's probably about a dozen or so trees could be knocked off the tree count in total by where they're encroaching. Nicely detailed intersection there as well. Nothing to complain about there either. And then we're heading off towards the edge of the map, which means we'll be able to jump across to that rail. But yes, tree anarchy has definitely been a problem this week. But on top of that, there's the rail coming in off from the edge of the map, and it emerges over here, and we can join up with the rail line here. Now you're going to see, you can see the wires where there were catenaries at one point, and they're not there now. I actually reloaded the game to try and get rid of these because I realised I didn't have catenary replacer active, and well, they're still there. And I've tried to get rid of them, and I can't work out what I need to do it. I've been into the railway replacer mod. I've been into catenary replacer. I cannot get rid of those wires. So I'm taking the blame for it. I'm taking one on the chin. But yes, it's just been one of those weeks. Every review has taken twice as, I mean, some of them have taken about 3 times as long as they should have done to make, which means that the whole of my life has been put on hold. Not least, I'm trying to put together a video for the weekend, which is another one of those game-breaking videos that I know that the canal one it went down the storm. It's still getting a lot of views now. That was the elevated canal. This one is different, completely different, and again, I don't think it's ever before seen in Cities Skylines, so a nice first for me again. And I'm running out of time because I've spent so long restarting and restarting and restarting the game just to be able to do these danged reviews. Whose silly idea was this anyway? Probably my silly idea. Anyway, yes. So anyway, let's go back to talking about the map. The map is a good strong one. It looks like we've got a bit of an transition going uphill here, but it is, while it is visible by the naked eye, it's still quite gentle. And within context of a Cities Skylines build, I think that even if it was elevating slightly, which I think it was, would pass. Again, it looks like we're going slightly uphill here, and but I think it's just within acceptable levels in terms of eyeball checking. We'll come back and see those bridges later. That's why I've skimmed over them very quickly, because we'll be taking a better look at them in the second half of the show. And we follow this off. I think we're getting close towards the edge of the map now. So when we come back in the second half of the show, we're going to do all the usual stuff. I'm going to show you these national roads as they go into the hills. So my grumble with them is I just don't buy into them. There's not the quality, not the routes. I just don't buy into them at all. I don't feel them, and there's my grumble with them. It's all about the feelings. Whoa. Stop it. Sorry. Anyway, following. Oh, hang on. Is there a drop there? Oh, I love these little magic tunnels where it drops, and you're not supposed to notice these things. I kind of did. Look, there you go. Anyway, off towards the edge of the map. I will be back straight after this short message.
Do you have trouble building on steep hills? Do your buildings continually glitch into or out of the ground? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Building on Steep Hills by BonBonB. Click the information button now.
And so back to Clarette by djoe, and we have no shipping routes. We have an air route. Yeah, no shipping routes on this map makes an awful lot of sense. Air routes here, even with an air triangle, very neat. Means we don't have any silly sharp turning planes in the sky. And then this follows all the way up the valley, which I've got to say, in terms of Even with the lack of the theme mix, it's a very aesthetic valley, and you should be getting some really good screenshots. On top of that, of course, you can use any theme mix you want, but I always like to do what the creator intended. The river is not very strong. There is water flow. It is kind of there, but it kind of trickles a little bit. But of course, it doesn't matter. The creator realised this one straight off. You can see from these pipes, and the fact that we've had to subscribe to a clarifier and the pumping station there as well means that we're good to go. We're good to go, and you can just continue to use that. Spam them. Spam them out. Okay, right, so where do we start with this? Let's start with the river and the rocking and holing. I've got rocking and holing. Oh, hang on, and rocking and holing. You can't check it off twice, bingo players. You can't check it off twice. Following the river down, the river is so scenic. This is a really interesting shaped river. It's busy. It's nicely detailed without being over detailed. Still has a real vanilla feel to it though, doesn't it? This map, I know it's not vanilla, but it has the vanilla feel, which is a really weird thing. Loving the way these three rivers as well all converge down here via this little windy section. Aesthetically, very pleasing indeed. Now, speaking of aesthetics, this is the problem with the Homecoming theme. When you have a big slab of hill, you get that patchwork on the side of the hill, and this is the start square, and we've got a big chunk of patchwork in the background of the start square. Now, yes, I know we're supposed to be using the theme mix, but we don't have it. That's what we're running with, and it's kind of unpleasant, sadly. Big chunk over that side as well. Right, let's talk about things like, okay, these national roads. Let's follow one of them up and in. You'll see, like I say, there's no problem with the quality. And if I'm building a national road and want to get to the other side of these hills, this is kind of the route I'm going to take. I'm not talking about that being a problem. I'm just not buying them. And I think this is like, I don't know, it's a mindset for me or something like that. It's all good. It's all good. It's just, it doesn't feel necessary. And maybe it's just so we can get access to this little area here, so we can build a second small town in this area here. And then you've got the road winds up here. It winds its way up. Nice little bridge crossing as well. All credit there. And then it skips over the highway, runs parallel with the highway, joins up. This is where we started, down this way. And then we've got some very clear switchbacks going up into the hills, tunnel through to the other side of the hill. I come back down the other side of the hill. Now this has to be going somewhere. Well, why would they build this? This is where my brain's working. Why would they have built this? Big tunnel there, coming through over here, and then feeding our way down to this area, which is quite close to the start square. There must be easier ways to get here. Now we do have a castle, which we'll come back to. Head over this way, and we've got some very clean switchbacks. Nice buildable area here. I have no issues with getting a road over to this area, but there's an awful lot of roads there just to get to that area from the start square. It just feels unnecessary. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense at all? I never know. Very few people know. Look at the old pointy hill. I like the shapes of the hills, and I kind of like that. I know it looks a bit weird, but it kind of works in terms of adding a little bit of feature to the map. Now, we do have another castle, by the way. Ooh, it's a castle. Ooh, it's another castle. That one's fine. It's subtle, and it's just enough. This is more than just enough. This is very nice indeed. This is very heavily detailed, very cleanly done, and good work. I like that a lot. And I did promise you we'd come back to these two bridges that cross over each other over the river. And again, this is all very good work as well. Again, because you could say it's overdone, but I like it, so shush now on that occasion. I really like the way that this river follows the highway, or actually technically the highway follows the river down here. It just offsets it very nicely, and of course with the old spiky mountain in the distance, you can even see where the start square is. Very nicely done. But yes, I'm liking the river work. Don't know so much about this lake up in the hills. I don't have a problem with there being a lake up here, but the terrain work up here just seems really odd. And I don't mind a little island in the lake, but again, it just feels, it doesn't make much sense to me. And the spawn point up by the spiky, I'd want to hide that more. I mean, the waterfall work is fine, but that just feels a bit weird as well. But hey ho, can't have everything. Here's that other castle. Ooh, it's the second castle, big castle, this one. And we have another splashes of blue mantle in the trenches there underneath the castle walls. Tiny little splash of mantle, easily fixed, but it isn't. So there we are. And then we have a swimming pool. And who goes swimming in a swimming pool? Trees with their trunks on, clearly. They've just got their head out of the water so they can still breathe. I like that. That's a nice shape, and it works really well with the castle, which is also a good shape and also has a great view over the start square. That is very strong. Okay, I'm all for that. Told you, it's a strong map. Just a couple of technical problems, and I'm not sure about national roads. And we have in the start square something special. Something very special. The Sidewalk Cafe Pack. Now, all of these are individual parks. There are a lot of things to subscribe to. This pack has a one-click collection to get all the constituent bits, but it's all of the highest quality. And because they're parks, what you can do is you can put them outside the front of a high street cafe, and people will come to the cafe and maybe sit down and, you know, glitch through tables as people do because they're stupid. And factoids, because factoids. Right, so we're doing djoe today, so how about this for a factoid? Giuseppe Paolo DiMaggio, better known as Joe DiMaggio, see, Joe D, see what I did there, is arguably the most famous baseball player of all time. He was traded from San Francisco to the Yankees on November the 21st in 1934. That's 87 years ago tomorrow, for those of you watching on the day of release. And he was traded for 5 players and $25,000. His rookie salary was $8,500, going up to $15,000 next year. $15,000 90 years ago. Yeah, let that sink in. Oh, right, Sidewalk Cafe Pack by OJ's. Nice. That is an amazing pack, and I've just had to, as soon as I saw it, I know I had to share it. It's just sort of work we want. Thank you very much. Anyway, if you're still here, your chance to vote on the map. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description that takes you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple, or a Patreon account. But what do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, it's weird. It looks, to me, it looks vanilla. I know it's not. I can clearly see lots of custom assets, but it has a vanilla vibe to it. And, excuse me, and while that doesn't stop a map from getting to 4 stars, it doesn't feel like a 4-star map. Plus, it's held back by the patchiness, of course, with the texture that shouldn't be there because of stray cats. We've covered that. So I can only give it 3 stars, but I'll go at the higher end because I like the design of the map. Detailing is pretty decent across the map. There's 1 or 2 minor grumbles with blue mantle, but I still think it's 4 stars. Let's go lowish 4. Gameplay potential. I think this has got a lot of playability running through it. It's got a few question marks, and I think there's a lot of things to subscribe to that could have been trimmed down a bit. But Clarette by djoe can have 4 stars from me for gameplay. I like this one. I don't feel it as much as the last 2 maps, but djoe is clearly one of those creators to watch out for. Whenever they release a new map on the workshop, check it out, because they do look like they are going to be one for the future. They really are a good example of that. Now, if you're still here, you are a good example of a 20 and out elitist. Use the word of the day in the comments just to prove yourself to be one of the best. And I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, with that special. It's going to be good. You have to roll with me on this one.